Hello and welcome back. We are looking at the second part of Unit 14 of Interchange Book 2, and we're going to look at permission, prohibition, and obligation. Okay, so let's get started. Karina and Lucas are checking in at their hotel.
Hello, I have a booking under Cheeseman.
Mr. L. Cheeseman,
That's me.
and you've booked 7 nights in the Sir Leslie Suite, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. Could I check your passports, Mr. and Mrs. Cheeseman?
Of course. By the way, I have a few questions.
Certainly.
We have friends visiting tomorrow. Can they use the facilities?
They can, but they have to pay a small fee of $20.
That's reasonable. Does the $20 include everything?
Yes, they're allowed to use the swimming pool, the bar, the restaurant, and the casino.
Are we allowed to gamble in this country?
Yes, you can. It's allowed here.
Cool. One more thing. They want to bring their dog.
That's okay. They've got to pay for the dog too.
That should be fine.
And the dog has to be lighter than 20 kilograms.
He's a giant dog. I think he's too big.
Okay, I'm sorry. He's not allowed to come.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry.
Thanks for understanding. So, your passports?
So in the video, Lucas was asking the receptionists things that he could do, things that he couldn't do, and things he had to do in the hotel. So if we look at this example with the man walking his dog, we could say he can take him to a dog park. Okay, and this is a permission. You could also say he has to pick up poop. This is an obligation. And we could say he's not allowed to take him on the bus. And this is a prohibition. So first let's look at the phrases we can use for permission. So the first one is can. So we could use the formula subject, can, verb. So if we look at this image of a driver's license, we could say he can drive a car. He has the permission, he has the license. He can drive a car. And this one we have a parking permit. And our other formula for permission is subject, be allowed to, and verb. So we could say he is allowed to park here. He has permission. He, verb be, allowed to park here. He's allowed to park here. Now let's look at our obligation phrases. So the first formula we have is subject, have or has, got to, verb. So here we have two people at a ticket booth. So they've got to buy tickets. We have the subject they, so we need to use have rather than has. They've got to buy tickets. It's an obligation. And the other one, subject, have or has to, verb. So in this image we have someone using crutches. It looks like they have a broken foot or a broken leg. She has to use crutches. Finally we have prohibition. So one formula we could use for prohibition is subject, can't, and verb. So in this image we have someone who is in prison, and there are lots of things prisoners can't do. For example, he can't leave his cell. Okay, he's prohibited. He's not allowed. He can't leave his cell. And the other example is exactly not allowed. So the subject, be, not allowed to, and then the verb. So on the sign we have someone diving into a swimming pool, but the sign says you can't do it. So the full sentence, you're not allowed to dive. Okay, we've got you, we have our verb be, we've used are because it's in the first person. Not allowed to dive. You're not allowed to dive. So let's do some practice. And so here we have an image that says speed limit 45. And our sentence says you're blank drive over 45 miles per hour. Okay, so if the limit is 45, going over 45 miles per hour is a prohibition. So the correct response isn't allowed to, it's you're not allowed to. It's prohibited. You're not allowed to drive over 45 miles per hour. So on this example, we have a stop sign that you might have seen on the road. So if you see a stop sign, do you have the permission to stop or the obligation? Well, I think you have the obligation. You have to do it. So if you see a stop sign, you have to stop. Okay, it's obligatory. And our final example, we have another sign, and it has a red line through a burger and a drink. So does this mean it's an obligation to eat food here or a prohibition? Well, obviously it's a prohibition. So you would say you aren't allowed to eat food here. Okay, excellent. That's everything for this video. So please try the activity below. Thank you and goodbye.